question asks us to find the equation of the line which is parallel to y equals 2x minus 1 and passes through the point 4, 11. So first of all, what you have to remember about parallel lines is that they have the same gradient. So the second line, or the one that's parallel to this, is also going to be y equals 2x, and then we don't know what the c is. Okay, now to work out this part, we have to plug in these values here. So just gonna write plus c for now. Okay, so far y equals 2x plus c, we don't know what this is. Now to work out the y-intercept, all we have to do is use these values here and substitute them into this equation in order for us to find the c. So I'm just going to do it over here. So far we've got y equals 2x plus c, okay, and our x and y values are given to us here. So our x is going to be 4 and our y is going to be 11. So if we substitute those values in, 11 equals 2 times by 4 plus c. Well, 11 equals 8 plus c. Now all we have to do is use the balance method and subtract 8 from both sides. So if I minus 8 from both sides, I am left with 3. So c equals 3. Now once I've got my c value, I can substitute that back into this equation over here. So we've got y equals 2x plus 3, and that's the final answer. So as we can see, the gradient is the same as the original line, so we know that they are parallel, and I know that this one cuts through the y-axis at 3 because I substituted x and y of the point that was given, and it gave me an answer of 3 for C. So the second question gives you the line y equals x, and you have to find the line that's parallel to this and passes through the point -2, -10. Well, first of all, there's a difference between what you've seen in this equation and the previous one. This one can be rewritten y equals 1x plus 0. Now, why have I written 1? We're thinking, why is it 1x? Well, think about the basic rules of algebra. When you get something like 2b, and then you've got 3b, 4b, this stands for 2 times by b, okay? This stands for 3 times by b, this stands for 4 times by b, okay? So when we've got b on its own, it's actually 1b, which is 1 times by b, okay? So in the same respect, x on its own is going to be 1x, and because there is no y-intercept, that means for this question anyway, that when you've got your x and y-axis, so this being the x and that being the y-axis, that the line cuts through the point 0, which is directly in the middle. So it's possible to write this and it's possible to write it out like this because it has the same meaning. So therefore, your line that's going to be parallel to this line, or this line if you would like to use this, is going to have a gradient of 1x. So y equals 1x plus c. Similarly, like we did in the previous question, we had y equals 2x minus 1. Our line that's parallel had y equals 2x plus c, and then we substituted the values in, got c, and then put it back into the equation there and got our final answer. We're going to do exactly the same thing again for this one here. Okay, so let's substitute our values in. Our line, the line that's parallel, we said it's going to have a gradient of 1x, so y equals 1x plus c. Well, this is our x and this is our y value, so that's x and that's y. So it's -10 equals 1 multiplied by -2 plus c. That gives us -10 equals -2 plus c. Well, I'm going to use the balance method now and add 2 to both sides, which gives us -8 as the value for c. So now I found my gradient and the c value, I can give the final equation, which is y equals 1x minus 8. Well, we don't generally write the number 1 in front of any letter, so it's just going to be y equals x minus 8. Question number 3 gives you this equation 3y plus 2x equals 1 and asks you to find the line parallel to this passing through the point 90. Well, first of all, this is not in the form y equals mx plus c, so we need to do some rearranging. The first thing that I would do is move the 2x to the other side, so it would be 3y. So if I subtract 2x, first from both sides, so here we get 3 equals minus 2x plus 1. The reason why it's plus 1 is because that number there is a positive. If it was negative, it would say minus 1 there. We still don't have it in the form y equals mx plus c because we need to divide it by 3. So divide both sides by 3 and we get y equals minus 2 over 3x plus 1/3. All we need is the gradient of the original line, so we are going to have y equals minus 2/3 x plus c. Okay, so this is the parallel line and it's going to be parallel to this, passing through this point. So let's substitute our x and y values in. First of all, it's y equals minus 2/3 x plus c. Our x and y values, so 0 equals negative 2/3 times by 9 plus c. So once you actually do this, if you're using a calculator, you can plug this straight in. If not, you can multiply the two fractions. How do you make this into a fraction? Well, it's going to be 2/3 multiplied by 9 over 1, and it's going to be a minus there, don't forget. And why is it 9 over 1? Well, a whole number changed into a fraction is the whole number itself over 1, because 9 divided by 1 gives you an answer of 9 anyway. Okay, so how do we do this now? That's going to be negative 18 over 3, or negative 18 divided by 3 is going to give us negative 6. Okay, so that's this part here. So we've got 0 equals negative 6 plus c. Okay, well, use the balance method, add 6 to both sides, and you will get an answer of 6 for c. So now we've got the value of c and we've got the gradient as well. We just have to substitute the c value up here. So we get y equals minus 2/3 x plus 6, and that is the final answer. So the last question, which is the challenge question, says find the line parallel to 8y minus x plus 4 equals 0 passing through 3.5. Okay, so first of all, this is not in the form y equals mx plus c. I need to do some rearranging, so I'm going to add x to both sides to start off with. Sorry, add x, and that's going to give me 8y plus 4 equals x. I then need to subtract 4 from both sides. That's going to leave me with 8y equals x minus 4. Well, it's still not in the form y equals mx plus c, so I need to divide both sides by 8. Okay, it's going to leave me with y equals 1 over 8x minus 4 over 8. Now, why has this become 1 over 8x when this was x? Well, like I said in the previous one, this actually means 1 times by x, so there's an invisible 1 there. Now we could write it as x over 8 minus 4 over 8, so this part and this part are exactly the same. Okay, however, I would advise you to write the fraction like this, because when you substitute this value in here, you can substitute it in directly for the x, so it'll be 3 over there, and that would make your life so much easier later on. So just leave it like this. So our equation is y equals 1/8 x, and this can be simplified to a half, so minus a half. So the original line, which is up here, can be rearranged and simplified to this here, because now it's in the form y equals mx plus c. Now all we need is the gradient, because we're looking for the parallel line. So we're going to take y equals 1/8 x plus c. Okay, that's what we need to work with now. So let's come over here onto this side. So we've got y equals 1/8 x plus c. Now we need to substitute our values in. This is the x and the y. So we've got a half equals 1/8 times by 3 plus c. Okay, so first of all we need to multiply 1/8 with 3, so it's going to be 1/8 times by 3 over 1, which equals 3/8. Okay, so this part goes here, so we've got a half equals 3/8 plus c. Well, now we have to subtract 3/8 from both sides. Sorry. Minus 3/8 from both sides. So if you take 3/8 away from both sides, we are going to be left with 0 plus c, because 3/8 minus 3/8 is 0. And then we have to do this part, 1/2 minus 3/8, and get the answer for c. So let's do that one. 1/2 minus 3/8. Well, first of all, they don't have the same denominator, so we need to change the denominator so that it's the same. Lowest common multiple of both of these would be 8. So this one stays the same, 3/8, and this one we have to multiply by 4 in order for us to get 2 to become 8. So 1 times by 4 is 4. 4/8 minus 3/8 is simply 1/8. Okay, so we have an answer of 1/8 equals 0 plus c. Well, we don't need the 0, cancel that off, so we've got 1/8 equals c. Okay, so we've got our gradient, which is 1/8x, and now we've got the value for c. Just put that into this part here, so it's y equals 1/8 x plus 1/8, and that's your final answer.